in this example we will see that after reading the emails, how we can store into Excel sheet. So in earlier example we saw that how we can read the email fields like subjects and date and who is the sender. So the same data I will store. Suppose our requirement is to store into the Excel sheet. So how we can do this? So for that, what we can do was here we have read the emails and we have iterated here. So what else we can do? So for processing that, we can create a data table store. For example, our Excel sheet is here. Let me create one Excel sheet first so that it will be easy to understand. So here email data. For example, we have this sheet, this workbook, and in this workbook, in sheet 1, I want to store. First of all, I want to store the sender. So sender name, sender email. So who is the sender I want to store, and what is the subject? Subject line I want to store, and what is the time? I mean the time when the email received I want to store. What else we can store? Let me check here. We will store this three value. Apart from this, if we need to store some other field, then we can also do the same. So as of now, let me put this time here, and here subject line. Format it. I want to read the data sender email address and keep it here, and the time when we received the email and the subject line. So how we can do? So since we have created this Excel sheet, the same data table I will create. So this data table object we will create first, and inside this data table object we will create these three columns name, sender, time and subject here in this, so that what we can do here, this three column will be in this subject, sender, subject, time and subject. This three column will be inside this data table, and after reading, after iterating, we will store that value into the respective data table columns, and once it will done, we can write into that Excel sheet. So that this is the process how we can achieve our goal. So let's start. So before get into the loop, what we can do, we can create this data table here before getting inside this loop, so that once the variable will iterate this variable, this email variable, we can able to store into the data table. So to creating the data table, we can use build data table. As we know, build data table is an activity to create data table. So here we have selected, and here we can put the data table name. So let me first of all build data table first. So as we know, this is column 1, column 2. I will remove all this, and now I'll add a fresh column. The first column I'll put is sender. This will be string type, no problem, and okay. The second column, time and date. Here let it be a string type, no problem, and subject. third column will be subject. The string type, no problem. So 3 columns we have created here in this data table, the same here, sender, time, and so while creating this data table, we need to follow the same order in which the Excel sheet columns are available. So first of all, sender, time, and subject, so that once we will write into the data table, we can directly write the data table from data table to Excel sheet. So sender will come to the sender column, and time and date will come to the time and date column, and subject will come to the subject column respectively. If we will change the order, then this time will, if suppose for example, if you change the order like time here and sender here, so the time will come to the sender and sender will come to the time. So while creating this, follow the order, same order. Now save the data table, and here after building the data table, we need to provide a data table name. So so that this, if we want to store into this data table, we can store by calling this name. So here control K, create a variable, data table type of variable. So unread mail dt. This is the data table name. Here open the variable panel. Yeah, unread mail dt, and the type is variable type is data table. Now remove all these lines, or directly I will copy and paste this here. Alright, and one variable, we are reading subject, so I will store into control K subject type of variable here, subject string type. Now again copy and paste. Oh my, let me use 2 more assign activity here, and since subject we have used, I am deleting this, and this I'll copy and paste it here, and control K. This is from address, so this is sender actually. Sender or from, we can write anything, sender, and let me delete this one. Now we are reading the date, control C, control V, and here control K, date. Since it is not accepting the date because date is predefined, so we can write something else rather than date. Date 1, date something, or time and date. Let me write time and date. Time and date. Okay. What is the error we are getting? One more children have validated an error warning. So what warning we are getting? Let me remove this. Copy and control K. We just created right here. No, we did not. Let me create once again. Time and date, control K. Time and date. Date, right? And we can pass email dot headers and pass the date inside this. Now no error. Let me delete this. So we have read all the 3 values, but here the order is different. So it's no matter when we are reading what value, while putting into this data table, we have to care that the same order we have to write. So how we can do this, we will see here. So since we have created a data table, and the data table name we have mentioned it here, unread mail, we have created unread mail dt, and now we have read all 3 values. Now my requirement is to put all these value into this data table. So how we can do using this add row, add data row. We have activity add data row. So add data column will add column wise, but our requirement is to add row by row. So first of all, we will add one row. For example, this 3 value in one row, and again iterate, and again 3 value in one row. Again iterate and again iterate. So till the time the data table, the value, the mails it is coming from here is not getting finished. And once it will finish, our data table will be created. So after that we will write into the Excel sheet. So now here what can we do? Here we have properties array row, data row, and data table. So in which data table we want to write this, add this row. So the same data table which we have created here, 100 mail DT we will pass here. 100 mail DT, this one, 100 mail DT. Okay, this is the data table name. And array row, we have to pass the row value of array type. Array row value we have to pass. So how we can, let me open this. So inside this curly braces, we will pass all these 3 variables. So the first variable we will pass accordingly. We created this data table. First sender and time and subject we will pass here. So sender will be the first variable, sender, comma, time and date, comma, subject. Okay, time and date, sender, time and date, and okay. So we have written the value into this table. So let me check whether, or directly we will write here. So after writing, once we will done with the writing into the all the row into the data table, now we need to write into the Excel sheet. So if our requirement is to write, so once the data table is completed, we will come out of the for each loop and then we will write here. So for writing into the Excel sheet, we will use write range activity. This write range activity. I am selecting workbook type of write range activity because we will get this option to select the workbook path as well. So let me select this one, 100 Gmail emails. Okay, this is the correct one. Now sheet 1, inside this sheet 1 we have to select yes, and from A1. So the range from where we want to write here, the cell value from where we want to start writing the value. Here we can see starting set value. Earlier it was like A. So what it was showing here, the starting cell value A1. I don't want to start writing from A1. Why? Because if it will start writing from here, our already this header part will get removed. But I don't want to remove this part. I just want to continue with the header part, and I want to write data from here. So the all mails data will come and write from here onwards. So first time one row, then after second, and then third row, and like this. So this cell address we want to pass. So what is the cell address? A2. So A2 we have to pass it here. A2. Now we have to provide the data table, which data table we want to write into the Excel sheet. So this data table 100 mail DT, we will pass it here. 100 mail DT, this one. Control S, and now run the workflow. So now the execution process is completed. Now let's open the sheet, open the workbook, and see whether the data has been written or not. Here we can see we have found all the data, the sender email address, time when we have received, and the subject. So all data we have found. Here 1 to 6 emails it is showing that it is 100. So that's how we can write into the Excel sheet. So that's it for now. Bye bye.